Breaking news now from the Cherry Grove section of North Myrtle Beach, where we understand multiple condos have caught fire. News 13's Conan Gasquet continues to keep us up to date on that situation. He's at 49th and North Ocean Boulevard with the very latest. Firefighters, we're told, aren't sure how it started, and they had a tough time getting there. Let's check in now with Conan.
Yeah, to kind of get you up to speed, Nicole, it is actually 5 condos that have caught fire at this point. It started, we believe, around 7:30. That's when we initially heard about it and started heading this way. It was one condo initially, and over the course of time, because of the wind and the sparks that were being blown across the street over to other condos, these condos, a second one caught fire and a third one caught fire. We've now got 5 that are on fire, and fire personnel are trying to do their best to prevent a 6th one from catching fire as well. But again, we got here at about 7:30 or so. Emergency personnel just started getting water on the flames at about 9:30 or so. No word yet on what the delay was there, what the struggles they had were, anything like that. But again, we're talking about 5 condos that have gone up in flames.
I believe that's Myrtle Beach. That's the Spring-Made Pier.
Yes.
It was the Spring-Made Pier, I guess I should say. It's been destroyed.
Yeah, it's really bad shape there. That's going to take a lot of time to repair. We had been hearing, of course, earlier that the Spring-Made Pier had been damaged heavily. We did not know how much, but now we do. I don't have any guesstimates of exactly how much has been torn off there, but a significant amount, and enough that I would suspect that the whole thing will have to be rebuilt.
Right, and I'm not sure. That was probably taken 10, 15 minutes ago. Those of you listening on the radio can't see it, but the Spring-Made Pier in Myrtle Beach, at least half of it is gone in that video, and we were told that it has been destroyed. So the Spring-Made Pier at Spring-Made Beach on the south end of Myrtle Beach destroyed. We also have heavy damage at the Apache Pier, according to a viewer. The Surfside Beach Pier, also heavy damage. The 2nd Avenue Pier, some damage in Myrtle Beach. And now we understand to the Oak Island Pier, damage in Brunswick County of North Carolina. And at least right now, it looks like the worst of it for the Spring-Made Pier in Myrtle Beach, which has been destroyed.
Exactly where we stand, what we could see on the ground, it was good because they were, able to get up in the air and see some of it. They were able to get and see things by land as well as by boat in some cases. There's still some areas we still can't get into, but I think we can give you a little bit more updated information today.
13 continues to follow the developing Amtrak train crash after 2 people died. National Transportation Safety Board officials say a passenger train crashed into a freight train early this morning in Lexington County. Chairman of the NTSB, Robert Sumwalt, held a press conference just a few hours ago. He said investigators are looking at the operations of both the Amtrak and CSX trains.
Our team will be looking at the operations of both trains. We'll be looking at the crew training and employment records. We'll be looking at company procedures. They'll be looking at they'll be examining the medical condition, or the mechanical condition of each train. In addition, we'll be looking at the survival factors and the crashworthiness aspects of this collision.
I'll give you a little background information. An Amtrak passenger train and CSX freight train crashed. Happened around 2:45 on railroad tracks near Pine Ridge Drive and Charleston Highway. That's in West Columbia. The passenger train was traveling from New York to Miami.
Next thing I hear, pop, 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 pop. And he's like, I've been shot.
Right now on News 13, Lakeview police have the sketch of a man who they think is a killer. You'll see that. Plus the first confirmed case of the Zika virus in South Carolina. Tonight, find out if DHEC thinks you are at risk. Plus find out what state lawmakers try to do to keep slow drivers out of the left lane.
So did you shoot him? Yes. What kind of gun did you use?
A Glock 45.
Tonight on News 13, you'll see parts of what the jury saw today of when Dylan Roof confessed to killing 9 people last year inside a Charleston church.
News 13 at 11 starts now.
I went to that church in Charleston. I did it.
You did what?
Well, I killed him. Oh, well, I guess.
And that was part of the video that was released today as part of Dylan Roof's confession to killing 9 people at Emmanuel AME Church last year in Charleston. Today marked day 3 of the federal death penalty trial for Roof, who on the video admits to premeditated murder. Roof's 2-hour-long recorded confession that he gave to FBI agents was played today in court. Among other things, Roof told the FBI that he chose Emmanuel AME in part because it is the oldest black church in the South. And as you will see in this police video, he was caught the next day west of Charlotte up in Shelby, North Carolina. However, it appears as if Roof had not planned to get that far, because on the recording, he told the FBI that he saved 1 bullet. So when he left the church and confronted police, he would kill himself. But the police had not yet gotten there, so he took off. Roof also said that his motive was racial hatred. He told investigators, quote, "I had to do it because somebody had to. Blacks are raping and killing white people on the streets every day." He added, quote, "What I did is still minuscule to what they're doing to white people every day," end quote. However, he also told investigators that a black person never did anything personally to him to hurt him. Roof's attorneys aren't disputing that their client is guilty. They wanted, though, to save him from the death penalty. And a good evening to you. Thanks for joining us. Megan's off. I'm Bob Chubak. First up, Lakeview Police. They released a sketch today of a man who they say shot and killed another man 2 weeks ago and wounded the man's 14-year-old nephew. New at 11, News 13's Matt Parrish spoke with the family of the victim. They requested to not be on camera, but they want to be heard, and they hope that this sketch will help police find the killer.
It's just around the corner here on the night of April the 12th, 13.
And if you recognize the man in the sketch here or have any information on this case, get in touch with the Lakeview PD, and you can take a lot longer look at the picture online at WBTW.com. Conway police arrested a Coastal Carolina football player who police say sexually assaulted a woman. That player is Ray Lewis III. He is the son of former All-Pro NFL linebacker by the same name, Ray Lewis. New at 11, Lewis's attorney responded to his client's charges. The attorney is Ed Garland from Atlanta, and he says, quote, "Ray Lewis III states he is not guilty of any criminal conduct. He is not guilty because no crime was committed. The sex with the accuser was entirely consensual. At the time of the sexual encounter, the 2 girls involved were fully conscious of what they were doing and knowingly consented. We are confident that a thorough evaluation of the facts will show that there was no crime committed," end quote. News 13's Taylor Herlong has worked this story all day. And Taylor, what have you found?
I've been in contact with the spokesperson for. I'm working to find out if that will also be the case for Lewis, and as soon as I get those details, you'll get them right here on News 13. Reporting for News 13, I'm Taylor Herlong.
And News 13's also been pressing the university all day to see if security will be changed in any way, and also to see what plan of action, if any, the university will take to help prevent sexual assault. As of right now, we have not heard back. Well, when you drive, you obviously have to watch out for speeders, but sometimes you have to watch out for the super slow drivers as well. Some state lawmakers are trying, though, to do something about that. The House yesterday passed a bill aimed to slow down left-hand lane drivers. Tonight, News 13's Capitol Bureau Chief Robert Kittle shows you how the bill can make you safer and perhaps less irritated.
In Columbia, Robert Kittle, News 13.
The sponsor of the bill, Representative Brown there, says 2 issues still need to be straightened out. The first issue is the penalty. The second is if the boards are enough or if DOT needs permanent signs instead. Well, Zika has made its way to South Carolina. DHEC confirms the person got the virus traveling. However, it says by the time they got home, they weren't contagious. Due to patient confidentiality, DHEC will not release more details, not even what part of the state the person lives. Zika can make you sick, but usually that is not the biggest problem. The main problem is if you are pregnant, the virus can lead to birth defects. Horry County Police think they have another killer in custody as police wanted Alex Gordine for the killing of Tyrese Smalls. Smalls was found shot at a home in Socastee last month. Police already had these other 2 fellas, Jesse Roberts and Tevin Johnson, in custody on the same murder charges, and now they have Alex Gordine. And Florence police say this man assaulted a boy in the parking lot of New Spring Church on North Cashua Drive. Leo Commission is 20 years old. He's from Florence. Police say that he worked with the youth group there at New Spring. A 15-year-old boy told police that Commission kissed him and fondled him. Commission is charged with criminal sexual conduct with a minor in the 3rd degree. A registered sex offender is back in jail tonight as Surfside Beach police say the man exposed himself at a supermarket. That man is Clifton Trail. He's 54. Police say on April 18th they found Trail in the Piggly Wiggly parking lot with only a bathrobe on. Trail was convicted of indecent exposure back in August of 2014, and now he faces the same charge once again. Horry County Schools has agreed to let a transgender student use the boys' bathroom. The student was suspended, though, for doing that earlier in the school year. Then he was homeschooled. Horry County Board of Education Chair Joe DeFeo said the student can now use the bathroom of his gender identity. The Transgender Law Center sent an email to the district last week threatening legal action. The student's mother says that her son has been using the boys' bathroom since middle school, and there were never any issues until his senior year at Socastee High School. In a statement made through the Transgender Law Center, the student said, quote, "We're in school to learn, and we should be able to use the bathroom when we need to without worrying about a teacher following us or policing which bathroom we use," end quote. Getting back to the board chairman, Joe DeFeo, he says that the district's decision wasn't an entire change of policy. The school board plans to vote Monday on whether to address the issue anymore, and it may also decide to file court documents to support a school district up in Virginia that faces a debate that's similar to the one in Horry County. Coming up next on News 13, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton appear to shift their focus to the general election, but you'll find out why their opponents are saying not so fast.
News 13 and 11 starts now.
Coastal Carolina rules the roost. They win the championship.
And folks, that is what dreams are made of in Omaha. Coastal Carolina takes down Arizona 4-3 to bring a national championship trophy back to Conway.
You guys inspired us to win this. Hopefully we inspire you.
Thank you. Shots up.
To celebrate this historic win, we are continuing with our teal colors in the studio tonight. News 13's Conan Gasquet was in Omaha today as the Chanticleers celebrated the school's national title.
Coastal Carolina arrived in Omaha 2 weeks ago as an underdog program that few thought could win a championship. By the time they left, they had won the hearts of fans all over the country, and when those fans return next year, they'll see a Chanticleer logo on the list of champions. And it's not just history because it's the first title for the school, but Coastal's also the first team since Minnesota in 1956 to win a title in its first trip to the College World Series. Reporting in Omaha, Conan Gasquet, News 13 Sports.
Thanks so much, Conan. Fans around here pretty excited for their team to come back home. The Chanticleers set to arrive back in Myrtle Beach in about an hour over at the airport, and that is exactly where we find News 13's Jana Jones. Jana, it looks like it's absolutely packed behind you. What's going on out there at the airport tonight?
Megan, what can you say other than wow, this crowd is incredible. This is what Teal Nation is all about. You can see people here showing their school spirit. Lots of shants up here tonight. Just excited that their team is about to land, bringing home a national title for the first time in school history. It's history being made right here at this airport tonight. And they told me earlier, you know what, the Chants shocked the world earlier today, but this community is not shocked. They have stood behind that team this entire time through this whole road to Omaha, and they're happy to be here tonight even though it's late. I wish I could show you more of the crowd. It goes all the way back to the gate, and then as far as I can see this way, the crowd here is incredible. The finish to that game today was incredible, and that team is incredible, and we're excited to be here tonight to welcome them back home. We'll be here to get you video. We'll have it for you on News 13 in the morning. For now, celebrating the Chants and reporting live in Myrtle Beach, I'm Jana Jones for News 13.
I can't tell you. The last 3 innings, all I've been doing is folding my hands at third and over in the dugout and praying to God that this is His will. And I know my dad's up there. I lost him 2 years ago, and I wanted him so bad that he couldn't be here to be with me. I'm so sorry he isn't, but I know he's watching over me right now.
And that was CCU's coach Gary Gilmore right after Coastal claimed its victory. Gilmore was named National Coach of the Year this year by the National Collegiate Baseball Writers Association. And the celebrations certainly are not ending there. Tomorrow, a welcome home parade will happen in downtown Conway at 1:30. The team will then host a party at Springbrook Stadium at 2. A lot of you asking us for some more details on this. We've got them online right now for you on WBTW.com. New at 11, you're taking a look at the State House in Columbia. Immediately after tonight's game, Governor Nikki Haley asked to have CCU's flag flown right on the top of the State House dome.
Give a big shout out to the boys at CCU. Finally, someone did it. We had a chance in 2010, but you guys took it home. First time there. Sean's up, baby. Let's go.
Former Chanticleer and current Tampa Bay Rays shortstop Taylor Motter congratulates Coastal on their big win tonight. This is video of him watching the ending of that Coastal game while his team was warming up.
News 13's national championship coverage.
Welcome into the National Championship Preview Show. I'm Conan Gasquet alongside Julia Morris here in Tampa, Florida. We've got a full preview ahead of the National Championship game. Clemson, by the time it's all said and done, hopes to lift the trophy for the second time.
Coach Dabo Swinney has done everything at Clemson but win a national title. Tomorrow he can add that to his resume. Coach Swinney took a picture and he has a long way to go to catch up with the man on the other sideline, Nick Saban, the king of college coaches. 5 national titles. He doesn't lose these often. He's been in 13 conference or national titles total. Only 1 was a loss. Swinney hopes to hand him 1 more tomorrow night. But win or lose, Coach Dabo Swinney has done a lot to bring this Clemson football team to prominence. He did it with a couple of key decisions and a few more victories.
Yeah, it wasn't always a smooth ride for Dabo and company ever since he took over this program. A lot of ups, a lot of downs. Here's a look at some of the milestones along the way as he brought Clemson to the national championship game. The end of 2010 essentially marked the beginning of a new era. Clemson lost the Meineke Car Care Bowl to South Florida that year. It wrapped up their first losing season since 1998, and Dabo promised he'd do anything it took to turn things around. What he did was hire a new offensive coordinator. Chad Morris reignited Clemson's offense. The Tigers won 10 games and their first ACC title in 20 years. But the end of that season brought embarrassment. West Virginia beat the Tigers 70-33 in the Orange Bowl, and that brought more changes. Dabo hired Brent Venables from Oklahoma to resurrect the struggling defense. In 2012, the defense made progress, and so did the Tigers. Clemson won 11 games for the first time since 1981. That sparked high hopes entering 2013. The Tigers started 6-0 and rose to number 3 in the nation. That's when Florida State came into town and won 51-14. It was a devastating loss, but they still won 11 games for the second straight year. 2014 marked the arrival of a highly touted freshman. Deshaun Watson was every bit as good as advertised. Injuries kept him out of several games, but Clemson's defense picked up the slack. Defensive end Vic Beasley led the nation's top defense, and Clemson won 10 games again. 2015 is when everything came together. Clemson was unbeaten in the regular season and played for their first national title in 34 years. They led Alabama in the fourth quarter before the Tide rolled back to claim the trophy. But 2016 provides another chance. Clemson beat Ohio State in the semifinals. Monday, they'll get the rematch they wanted with Alabama.
Welcome to News 13's Bojangles Southern 500 coverage, sponsored by Carolina RV, Lumberton Honda, and CA Hunter.
Good evening, I'm Chris Parks. Thanks for joining us for News 13's Darlington Bojangles Southern 500 preview special. Tomorrow, drivers will try to capture a crown jewel victory, but tonight they competed for an Xfinity Series win. We'll take a look at who won coming up, but first let's take a look at who sits atop of the poll for tomorrow night's race. And atop of the poll is the 2014.
Here comes Martin Truex Jr. for the lead. He'll take it away from Ryan Newman. As he comes back on the front stretch, Martin Truex Jr. will win the Southern 500.
Martin Truex Jr. captured his first win at Darlington last year. Now he looks to get back into victory lane for the second straight season. Julia Morris caught up with the defending Southern 500 champ to see how he plans to repeat. Hi there, Julia.
Chris, Truex was back at Darlington a few weeks ago to go fishing at Ramsey's Pond. He didn't have much luck on the water, but he was more concerned with tomorrow's race anyway. I asked him about his breakthrough win at Darlington last year and what it was like to be back at the track.
Very excited. Always look forward to coming to Darlington, but as the defending race winner, it's
The time to take a look at some of the throwback paint schemes that we get to see on the track tomorrow night. We start first with Brad Keselowski. Brad will be honoring the Black Deuce with his #2 Team Penske Ford. Rusty Wallace drove this car starting back in 1991 to
I just wanted the opportunity to go out on my own terms.
Welcome back to News 13's special preview show of the 2017 Bojangles Southern 500. The talk that surrounds the sport this year is a retirement one. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is set to retire at the end of this season. Earlier this week, Darlington honored the driver of the '88 car, and Julia Morris was there. Hey, Julia.
Chris, it's never easy to say goodbye to a sports icon, especially a fan favorite like Dale Earnhardt Jr. He announced his retirement back in March, saying he wanted to leave on his own terms. And since that time,
I'm going to go with Denny Hamlin. He's one of the most consistent drivers the last couple of months. He won the Xfinity Series race today, finishing 4th or better in 7 of the last 10 races, 6th or better in 6 of the last 7 appearances at Darlington, and the runner-up 4 times in his career. I like his odds. So Hamlin for the win. Julia, what do you think? Who's going to be celebrating in victory lane tomorrow night?
Chris, I'm going to have to go with Kyle Busch, and that is because I am someone who is all about momentum, and I definitely think Busch has a ton of momentum heading into this race. He won at Bristol 2 weeks ago.
Welcome to News 13's Tracking the Storm Hurricane Preparedness, sponsored by Vines Plumbing and Water Restoration.
And welcome to a special News 13 presentation of Tracking the Storms. I'm Chief Meteorologist Frank Johnson. Tonight we'll look at the lessons learned from past storms, changes in how we forecast storms, and how we prepare for them. First, we're going to get into this year's hurricane season, what it looks like. We are in the thick of hurricane season right now. Last year's hurricane season in the Atlantic was the busiest this time of year. Really don't pay attention to these numbers because it only takes one storm hitting our area to make it a bad season. Some of the worst seasons in the Atlantic in the last 20 years really haven't affected the Carolinas. So those numbers are just kind of a gauge to what to expect across the whole ocean. Each year, meteorologists at the National Hurricane Center work to improve hurricane forecasts and better inform people in the path of these deadly storms. So I took a look at some of the changes in place for this hurricane season.
Last year, Hurricane Matthew was the strongest and costliest hurricane to form in the Atlantic Ocean. The storm moved just offshore of Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina before making landfall near McClellanville. There are lessons to be learned from Matthew.
Matthew is another hurricane event.
Lessons learned from Matthew will help us better prepare for storms in the future, just like lessons from storms years ago have led to changes in policy this year. The National Hurricane Center has announced 2 changes that will take effect this hurricane season.
The National Weather Service is going fully operational here in 2017 with a new storm surge warning and a storm surge watch, separate from and in addition to the hurricane watch and warning, because the hurricane force winds and the storm surge don't always occur at the same place or the same time.
In 2008, Hurricane Ike hit Texas, but a storm surge caused damage in Florida, which was not under a hurricane warning. A storm surge warning would have alerted people to the danger, even though the hurricane was hundreds of miles away. Also this year, tropical advisories can be issued before a storm has even formed.
Because in the past, we haven't been able to issue the tropical storm watch or warning or hurricane watch if it wasn't yet a depression or storm, but when that's happening right off the coast, that means the watch or warning is too late.
This will get watch and warning information out a little bit sooner so people have more time to prepare. Better preparation will reduce property damage and save lives.